Hey guys, welcome back to another clip of Schach-manuel-lernen. Today with the second round of the Manchester Summer Congress. I had the black pieces, and by the opening we have King's Indian with f3, like this line. I checked it beforehand, and here it's normal castle, bishop e3 is common. And c5 is main line. Now the main line would be capture, 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 and then we sacrifice temporarily a pawn. This one we're not allowed to give, but then at the end we have good compensation for it, because we have development progress with this knight and this rook, and yeah, he lacks a bit of that. So that's why this pawn sacrifice is well known. He played a different move. He played d5, and here, of course, I had to think a couple of minutes. Here the common plan is to play e6 and capture. Idea behind this, if we capture like that, then we have this open file. If we capture like in the game like that, then we get here some space. So a6, a4, he tries to block b5. So I play b6. Why b6? If I don't play b6, he plays a5 with the idea of putting his knight to b6. That's why b6, in case if he would play this one, I could play this one. Knight g e2, rook centralize, development, development. Knight e5, I analyzed with computer, wasn't the best because he can just kick me away with f4. What would have been better is h5, castle, knight back, and then try to attack here a bit. At queen side, I can't do that much at the moment. He neither, so that's why the reason is to attack here. So castle, then h5, but now it's worse. So he pins my knight, I go out of the pin. And yeah, back with queen for supporting g5 and h4. And he plays now to play b4. At the right moment, I play h4, kick his knight back, h3. I try to weaken this pawn that I can attack it later. And then f5. So far so good. I attack now the center. This knight is a bit passive and he doesn't have a lot of counterplay, but it's clear that I'm attacking here on the king side, so he is forced to go on the queen side. F takes e4, knight takes, and here bishop f5, developing last piece. Before developing that, I had to calculate what is happening here. Capturing like that or like that, I just had to make sure that it works. Rook d6, and now I try to start a bit tactical stuff, which was successfully. I captured on f3, bishop captured here, and now this pawn is hanging. This I calculated, bishop d4, capture, and now this nice Zwischenzug, knight g5. The idea is this threat of this fork, because if I would recapture immediately, he can just play something like that and then I'm in trouble. So yeah, he has to defend that. Queen c2 is the best and only move, kind of, because if he plays something like that, I can just still give a check, and king f2 I can capture here, and this king is just dead long term. Knight f3. What would have been better is captured. I miscalculated here, unfortunately, a bit, because it was several moves in advance, and that's, as you may can imagine, not always that easy. Like that would have been the line with this idea and something like that, like sacrificing this pawn, king f7, check, and yeah, and here I'm clear better because I can capture and then win the rook. I decided for knight f3, capturing with pawn, and now this move I saw that I can't capture because of queen captures. And now my question was, yeah, should I do this or this? I decided for this one, like to activate the king if you want so. Then he traded queens, and now what is left on the board? I'm a pawn down. My compensation is this pawn and the activity from this to this knight. So if we activate quickly the computer, he says it's slightly better for white because of the pawn. But yeah. So rook h6, king g7, he captured, and now I have to run. Here the trick was, like, if he captures like that, of course we capture. If he doesn't do anything, something like that, we just play rook e1. And the last option, when he captures, I can pin the knight. After rook, I played first king g6, that he can't join the game. So he had to play g4, and now I captured the knight. And this is a really interesting position, like he has 3 pawns, and I have a knight. Was quite complex to play. Try to activate last rook. Here I should have simply captured. As well here, rook e8 is slightly better. Yeah, but it's kind of tough to explain why it's like that. I didn't get it completely by myself. It's more like that you put it on the open file that is not occupied with any other pieces. Yeah, I should have captured, but I just thought... what I calculated, sorry, was capture here, and then I just lose this pawn, and on that he can play this first, and then it's a bit like, yeah, not really fancy or comfortable position to play for me. But rook d6 was a mistake, because I thought knight e4 is working, but apparently as rook e5, and now there are several tactics. Like if I capture here, he can capture here, and if I capture with knight, I'll lose. If I capture like that, I also lose. So I can't capture this pawn, so I brought myself additional trouble with this knight e4 move. I could solve it more or less at the end with that rook, and now the idea is to put knight away and grab this pawn. Unfortunately, he has c7 with the idea of capture, check with double attack, and if knight goes back, we have same position that I wanted to avoid a few moves ago. So I played knight f6, but now we can play this one, and a5 doesn't really help because you can play this and then I still have to capture. So that was actually the game, like that. And after rook c2 I offered a draw. My opponent was in time trouble. He was weaker than I and he accepted it. You may ask why I offer a draw. It's quite simple, because even if I would win all these 3 pawns, I still have no winning chances. Like king and rook and knight versus rook is a draw. You can't win it except your opponent makes a mistake. But I need to win first all these 3 pawns, and I know it's still technically not winnable. So yeah, I was quite happy at some point with the game. Like until here, I really had a good feeling of playing, and I thought knight f3 is correct, but apparently it turned out it was not. And yeah, a draw. I was not really happy because against a weaker opponent, you're never happy to make a draw. But the game was quite intense. I learned a bit, and I hope you learned something as well, guys. If you want to take lessons by me, as always, you find the link to my chess school in the description below, to improve your chess skills and that we can grow together. Until next time, take care and good games.